Hello, I'm Sarah and welcome to your yoga lesson. Today we're going to be doing a 20-minute yoga practice which is suitable for beginners or anyone else who wants a nice little relaxing 20-minute yoga session. So we're going to be working through some breath practice and some posture. And just before we start, one of the things I would encourage you to do while you're doing your yoga practice, as with any physical activity, is that you listen to your body. And what I mean by that is that you pay attention to yourself, so that when we're moving into a posture or doing any kind of practice, we notice if something doesn't feel right for us. So we've all got different bodies, we all have different ways in which those bodies move, we've all got different limitations. And what we want to do is get through this yoga practice together and feel better. We don't want any injuries, nobody wants that. And the other thing about listening to our body is that it really ties in with the yoga principles of using the breath and the posture to help to calm the mind. So if you are listening to yourself, if you're paying attention to yourself, that can help to take your focus out of your head and into your body. And that can make us all feel better. Okay, so I'm going to go and sit on my mat. I'm going to sit cross-legged on my mat. You don't have to have a mat. You could sit on a blanket or a rug or a cushion. Just make sure that when you come up to standing, if you're on a wooden floor, don't stand on the blanket, because I don't want anybody slipping over. Or you could sit on a chair or the sofa. If you sit on a chair, just make sure that your legs are roughly parallel, that your thighs are parallel with the ground. So you might want to put some books underneath your feet or something similar, just to lift your feet off the ground. Okay, so I've got a little cushion that I'm going to sit on. That just lifts my bottom off the ground and just helps to get my spine into a nice position so that I'm not overly slumping or sitting too rigidly with my bottom sticking out too far. We want to find a nice, comfortable seated position. If this doesn't feel right for you, sitting cross-legged, then you can always sit with your legs out in front of you, with your knees bent, or you could have your legs straight, but just make sure that you aren't pressing your knees down towards the ground in that direction. Knees don't like to bend that way, they like to bend this way. Okay, you can always put some blankets or cushions underneath your legs to keep them nice and comfortable. It's worth taking a few moments to find a comfortable seated position for yourself, because we're going to be sitting here for a few moments. And also, if a part of your body is screaming at you too much because it's uncomfortable, then you won't be able to focus on your practice. Okay, so we find that seated position. Spine is nice and relaxed. We're not sitting too rigidly, but we're not slumping either. Our hands are relaxed and placed on our knees or in our laps, and we start to take our focus towards our breath. So what I mean by that is we start to concentrate on our breath, but we are breathing a relaxed, natural breath. We're not forcing, we're not hurrying. In yoga, we normally breathe in and out through the nose. If you can't breathe in and out through your nose, then it's fine to breathe in and out through your mouth. But whichever, we're taking slow, deep breaths. Nice and steady. Not forcing, not hurrying. Just allowing the in-breath to roll into the out-breath. Out-breath to in-breath. One breath to the next. If you haven't already started to count your breath in your head, then maybe you'd like to, because what we'd like to focus on next is whether the in-breath and the out-breath are of different lengths. For most of us they are. It doesn't matter which is the longer or the shorter. This is just part of that focus on the breath. A natural, relaxed, steady breath. And then we could think about starting to make the in-breath and the out-breath of equal length. So continuing not to hurry or force, you might need to make one breath a bit shorter and one breath a bit longer in order to equalise them. There are two principles in yoga called sthira and sukha. They're the Sanskrit words that can be translated into steadiness and ease, and that's what we really want to continue to find in our breath. A breath that is steady, is unforced and unhurried, a natural breath. A breath that has sukha, is the breath with ease. That is a breath that is natural, unforced. And that breath will be different for all of us. Now we're going to start to introduce some movement. But all the while we continue to slowly breathe in and out through the nose. And just before we do that, do remind yourself that in these moments of stillness, when we're not doing a great deal, it is normal for your mind to start to chatter to you, bringing you all sorts of thoughts into your head. Am I doing this right? What am I going to eat for dinner? But whatever those thoughts are, be them big or small, just try not to focus in on them and then get carried away on a train of thought before you've even noticed that that's what's happened. The important thing is the noticing. So as soon as you notice that your attention is being distracted away from your breath, then bring your focus back to your count and continue to slowly breathe in and out through your nose. And then on the next out breath, you're going to lower your right ear to your right shoulder. And you could take your left hand off your knee or your lap, and you can allow that to just either hang at your side or place it on the ground. And what we're looking for is that you feel length through the left side of the neck. Keep the shoulder down. We're not forcing. The right ear obviously isn't going to get to the right shoulder, and we definitely don't shrug the shoulder up towards the ear. It's just about what we're feeling, paying attention to ourselves. And then we breathe in and we come back to the centre and we lower left ear to left shoulder, and then we can place the right hand down at the side of us and feel the same on the other side. We're looking for that length through the right side of the neck. Maybe it feels different. Maybe you're tighter on one side of the neck than the other. The shoulders are where we carry an awful lot of tension. Breathing in, coming back to the centre and just rolling through the shoulders and changing direction, and then placing the right hand on the left leg and then turning to look over the left shoulder. The other hand you can place on the ground at the side of you or the small of your back. And I'm not forcing with my hand, I'm making this movement with the muscles in my back. And then we move our focus back to our breath again. Notice how your breath probably feels a little bit stifled in this twist position. And then on the in-breath, we come back through the centre and move in the other direction. Left hand onto right leg, other hand on the small of the back or the ground at the side of you, and we look over the right shoulder. And once again, we take our focus back to our breath. And I'm not forcing, I'm not pushing my hand onto my leg. I'm resisting listening to the ego telling me I should twist further. And then come back to the centre and just roll the shoulders out again. And just reach up with the right hand now. And we're going to come over into a side bend. So keep the right sit bone firmly planted down onto the ground or on your chair. The other hand you can have at the side of you. Try not to lean too heavily on it. We're looking for you feeling length from the right hip all the way up to the armpit, towards the fingers. Check you've not tensed your right shoulder up. Try and keep that shoulder sliding down your back. It is possible to raise the arm without shrugging the shoulder up to the ear. And then come back to the centre and lower that hand and reach up with the left hand and move over in the other direction. Once again, I've got my right hand down on the ground at the side of me. I'm keeping my left sit bone firmly planted down. And I'm looking for length through the left side of the body. And then back to the centre, lower the hand, just roll the shoulders out again. Just trying to release as much tension from the shoulders as possible. And then I'm going to move myself around into a standing position. So you can make your way up to standing however you like. If you're down on the ground, you might like to bring your feet in front of you and just move yourself around into being in a crouch position. And then you could keep your hands on the ground and start to straighten your legs. Now, you may find that in order to keep your hands on the ground, you've got a really big bend in your knees. And if you have that, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter at all. As you start to straighten the legs out a little bit, just allow your head to relax. Maybe your hands are now on your feet or your ankles or your shins. And then you're going to slowly uncurl back up to standing, nice and slowly. Okay, so the reason I'm encouraging you to do this nice and slowly is because when you go from high to low, it can make you feel a bit dizzy if you go too quickly, particularly if you've got any blood pressure problems. So also if you've got high blood pressure, just make sure when you go forwards that you're just careful with that. Don't take your head too low, keep a big bend in the knees. Okay, once again, all about listening to yourself. So we're going to find our mountain posture. Feet will be roughly hip width apart. Check you're not gripping onto the mat with the toes. Take the focus up the legs and keep a gentle bend in the knees. And then up towards the bottom and the lower back. Check you're not sticking your bottom out too far or tucking it too far under. Arms are relaxed at the side of the body. Shoulders are away from the ears. Head is stacked on top of the neck. Spine feels long but not rigid. We're not standing like a soldier. Standing nice and straight. We're bearing our weight down through our bones. And you can close your eyes again. And start to focus in on your breath. Maybe you'd like to start counting your breath again. Notice that if you've got your eyes closed, you'll become aware of small movements in your body. And just allow that natural, steady breath, that breath with ease, Sthira and Sukha. And then we're going to move into a little bit of movement again. So on the in-breath, you're going to sweep your arms nice and wide, reaching up to the ceiling, and you can look up towards your fingers. Don't tilt too far back on the neck. We're just looking up towards you. You have to raise your eyes to do that. And then as you breathe out, you're going to bring your arms in front. You're going to bend at the hips and come all the way down into the forward fold. So once again, just remember what I said about keeping that bend in the knees. Head is relaxed, arms are relaxed. Continue to breathe in and out through your nose. Feeling some length through the back of your legs, through your hamstrings. Check you're not gripping the mat with your toes. Maybe lift your toes up and wiggle them a little. And then on the in-breath, Slowly, slowly roll back up to standing. Head is relaxed, shoulders are relaxed, and all the way up. And then just give your shoulders a roll again. Find your mountain posture again. Maybe wiggle your toes again. And on the next in-breath, we reach up to the ceiling again. Look up to the fingertips. Check you're not tilting your neck back too far. Necks don't like being crunched at the back. And then bring the arms down in front of the body, folding at the hips. Keep that bend in the knees. Come all the way down. Head is heavy, arms are heavy. Feeling that length through the back of the legs again. Find the bend that you need in your knees in order for you to be able to get the most out of this. Doesn't matter if your hands are on your feet or your ankles or your shins. And then on the in-breath, slowly rolling back up to standing. Remember, if you need to take an extra breath for any of these movements, then do. Don't hurry them. Don't force the breath, don't hold it. And we find our mountain posture again. And then we breathe in. We look up to the fingertips again. And maybe this time you can reach slightly behind you, which will just open your chest a little, and you'll be in a gentle back bend. And then nice and slowly and steadily coming forwards again, all the way down. Noticing how that feels, noticing how the back of your legs feel. And then on the in-breath, slowly rolling up. Remember to take an extra breath if you need to. Head is heavy, shoulders are heavy. Just notice the effect on the spine, that uncurling. And just roll the shoulders at the top again. And find your mountain posture. On the next in-breath, breathing in. Maybe you can go into that gentle back bend again, reaching slightly behind you. And then coming forward steadily and with control, all the way down to the mat. This is the last time we'll be doing this in this session. Arms are heavy, head is heavy. See how your legs feel. Maybe you can straighten them a little bit more. But we're not looking for ramrod straight legs. We still want that gentle bend in the knee. And slowly on the in-breath, rolling back up. Last time, head is heavy, arms are heavy, shoulders are heavy. And return to your mountain posture. So I'm just going to turn to face you. So we're just going to spend a moment here. Once again, maintaining focus on our breath, on our body. Returning to the count of your breath. Noticing if you can go back to the count you had at the beginning of the lesson, or does it feel slightly different? Noticing the weight, your body weight, and how it's spread across your feet. Noticing your shoulders, can you let them slide down your back a little more? If you've got your eyes closed, just noticing those small movements in your body and how that affects your balance when you close your eyes. And if your mind starts to chatter to you again, thoughts coming into your head, just notice that's happened. And take your focus back to your breath, back to your feet, back to your shoulders. And after your next out breath, if you've got your eyes closed, you can open them. Well done. That draws our lesson to a close. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to see you again.